Hello, welcome to my channel, Emma's Life in Norfolk. And today my video is all about our trip to Efteling. Our arrival, how many days we spent and when we left. And I will talk through what we did on each day as well as top tips throughout the whole video. And there are a total of 20 top tips. Now this is based upon our experience from last year and also this year. We attended and visited the same sort of time of the year around Easter, and we took the ferry, and you'll see a clip as I show you the ferry cabin. So last year we had a room with a view out to sea. This time we were on an inside cabin. It was absolutely fine. My top tip that I would say if you are travelling by ferry is make sure you go to bed early. And the reason why I say that is you will be woken up at 5:30 whether you like it with a song, Don't Worry Be Happy, at 5:30, very, very loud, and you can't really fall asleep after that. The second thing that I would recommend is if you've got space, bring your own pillow. And the third thing, and that's really because the pillows are quite hard, not particularly comfortable at all, and it makes you feel much more settled, particularly with children, if you've got a pillow from home. And the third thing I would say is make sure you leave your main cases in the car and just have a small overnight bag to bring it into the ferry cabin. You don't need to really rush in the morning because by the time you get out to your car, there's so many other people you've got to wait for, and you just sit in your car and wait to be instructed to be able to drive off. So you'll see day one, right, is when we then drive up and we see one of the main Efteling buildings. Now it's really good now. You don't need to check in anymore. So you just pick up your information pack from the gate and wait until 4 o'clock, and you can then just go straight to your room and open your room up with information on the app on your phone. So we left all our items in the car and we went straight into the park. We managed to get loads and loads done. So I'm going to talk a little bit about each day. So we actually travelled on a Friday, and so we had part of Friday. So we travelled Thursday night into Friday morning, arrived there very early Friday morning, had the whole day in the park, and then Saturday and Sunday, and then Monday we had tickets until the end of the park on the Monday, but we left about lunchtime because we had the second part of our holiday, which was to Amsterdam. So as I've just talked there, you can see a couple of top tips that have just popped up, and you'll be able to see here the things we've done. So we spent some time in the gift shop. We went on one of the best rides. So we went on Python, which is absolutely fantastic. We love it. The children would like the bins. Now I like the bins. I'm a big kid, I think, at heart. So one of my top tips is save your rubbish. Any sort of serviettes or paper-based rubbish, keep hold of that. Walk through the diorama. Wouldn't spend a lot of time on that. It's nice to look at, but that's just a sort of a stroll through. We would also recommend the children's meals. Now for the children's meals, you get chips. You can get like chicken skewers. There's a few different options. You get a salad, so you get like tomatoes or cucumber as a side, and you get a really sweet little thing that plays music. You can use the top, which makes a mushroom. Really nice, and it's about €8 and quite cheap. Definitely take your time walking round Bosrec. If you're staying at Bosrec, that's just nice just of an evening. Have something to eat in the evening and just walk round and have a little look. Good to go over the lake and have a look at where the Sandman is. Have a swim. Lots to do. Just to walk around in nature, really. They're so good with the environment, all the different bird species too. Which just reminded me to mention the top tip about looking out for the peacocks. There's a peacock house there, and also absolutely beautiful peacock we saw on our second day. We love this ride where you got really high Dreamflout. I always forget how to pronounce it. And we also like the little train, and I'd strongly recommend, as another top tip, for you to take your lunch either on the train or the little boat. That works really, really well, and there's not any waiting time. You can just get straight on the train or straight on the boat, and then for the duration, eat your lunch. So that's another top tip. As I said earlier, I definitely take the opportunity to look around Bosrek if you are staying there. You can go all the way around, like as a nice walk after dinner, or maybe you've used the pool and then have a little look around. It's really nice. You'll also see on my video, I show you a quick pan of our accommodation. So really nice living room, kitchen, diner, and then upstairs we had 3 bedrooms. There's only the 3 of us, but my daughter had the bedroom with the bunk beds and the little table with games, which was nice. And then there was a bedroom at the front and a bedroom at the back. The only improvement I would suggest to this accommodation is they really need blackout blinds. So I would definitely recommend you bring something that you could possibly put up the window if you find it hard to sleep in the light. Otherwise you have the light shining into the room in the evening because you get the street lights, the lamps, and in the morning the sun comes up and shines in your window. So we really think the accommodation is nice. They give you different options. So last year I ordered Yoo-hoo How-Do to be the owl, to be ready in the accommodation for my daughter arrived, which was really, really nice. And my daughter loved that. And they have the little nightcaps for everybody in the family. I think I would probably just suggest that you took 1 extra big towel, because per person you get like a medium towel and a small towel, and it depends obviously on hairstyles, but me and my daughter have both got long hair, so really we could have done with an extra towel. But because there's only 3 of us and the accommodation could actually take 5, we were okay with towels. But if there had been 5 people, we would have been short. And then the next part of my video shows what we did on the second day. So our second day this time just works so well. My husband is great at helping us all get ready and get out and doing lunches and different things. So we got in 30 minutes before the general public. So we got in for 9:30. We went on Max and Moritz and didn't have to wait very much time at all. We were literally just walked on and we were straight onto the ride, which was really, really good. And then we decided to go on George and the Dragon. Now, this is not my sort of ride, really. I really love Python, but this sort of roller coaster I find quite rattly and quite uncomfortable. My daughter and husband absolutely loved it. So it really depends on what you prefer. And then we walked on to the fairy tale forest. Now, I think some young children, say who are about 10, 11, 12, 13, might think, oh, this is childish. Depends what sort of child you've got. I think my daughter enjoys it because she knows how much I like it. We all enjoy it. Everything is just themed so well. Every little area, the houses, all the detail is done fantastically. But the biggest top tip really has got to be, I'd say, in comparison to all the top tips in the whole of this video, is you've got to get the fairy tale book in advance. Really, really important. If you're lucky, you can sometimes find them on eBay. Sometimes they're a little bit more than what you might pay in the shop, but well worth it. The English version has absolutely beautiful drawings done by the person who kind of created a lot of the designs way back. The stories are lovely. You know, often you find the translations aren't very good when they're translated from like one language to English, but the translations are perfect. And obviously some of the stories, we all know Rapunzel and Rumpelstiltskin and different Snow White, but there are quite a few stories that are not taught to English children. And by reading the book before you go, it can really, really make the whole of the fairy tale forest so much more magical. We really loved as a family just knowing those stories in advance. We could talk about them. We didn't have to read the writing and read all the translation of the short story because we already knew the detailed story. So that would be a big recommendation for me. Also, the book is one that you just want to buy and keep forever. It's the sort of thing that you'll read over and over again and maybe keep hold of for future generations. So really is a very special book.
Go. Goose, let it go. Go.
Papier, hier. Dank u wel. Papier, hier.
Now with the fairy tale forest, you might want to walk around there just for 10 minutes and then go on another ride. Or you might want to make a point of thinking, okay, just before lunchtime or just after lunch, we'll go on a walk. For us, we decided to spend the time going round after lunch. And we also hired a little cart for €5 for the day. However, as you'll see, my top tip on that is to make sure that you take a photograph of the number of it. Take a photograph of your receipt and ideally lock it up. But we pulled my daughter around the fairy tale forest, which she liked. She's on the edge of probably next year, the year after we go again. She's going to be too big for that. So I felt like whilst she wanted to go on it and she was of the size that she could, to let her. Also, we were really pleased this year that 2 of the houses and 2 of the areas in this fairy tale forest, 2 of the stories, were open this year. And they weren't open last year, so we got to see them as well, which was nice. And the gardens, you know, even if you're not all that interested in the fairy tales, just wandering around the gardens, they're all so beautiful, just to wander around and have a look.
Kleine boot.
They don't get to move for that long, do they? That's the end of it. No nap tomorrow.
Heel lang geleden woonde hier op een prachtig kasteel.
So many rides later, lunch and the fairy tale forest, and what I should have also said was definitely recommend that you try Dance Macabre during the queue at about 9:45. That works out really well, we found, on several days. And we came back to our accommodation and we then had a swim. We really liked the swimming pool. It's got a lazy river, nice and clean, good facility overall. And we got ready, got changed and went back out again to watch the water display. It started off and there was an error, so it paused for a bit and then it restarted again, and that was really lovely. I just think that it would be nice if they did that in the evening where it was all lit up and everything, but there was a big crowd of people to see it. And we really loved it. It went on for good sort of 10 to 15 minutes, so highly recommend that. We didn't get to do that last year, so we were pleased to see that this year. So we thought this was really good, very different to other theme parks. Not seen anything like this before. The sprays of the water and the design go so high that you get, depending upon where you stand, you get a really big rainbow across all of the open water. I love the frogs or toads. We often have a discussion as to whether they're frogs or toads. I think it's all really, really effective. You can see in the background the new hotel, which is going to be open in a couple of months. So we really loved that. So that was really nice on our second day. We were absolutely exhausted though. We'd walked so far. The other thing that I haven't said is my daughter has got a lot of allergies, and we do find Efteling to be good for people who've got allergies. Actually, much better than other parks. For example, better than Disney. They're very good with their chips. They'll put on chips specially if you need them to be gluten-free. We found people very willing to provide ingredients. So my daughter can have the potato spirals. We love the fact that at that stall, the only thing they sell are those potato spirals. So the risk of cross-contamination of foods is much, much lower. But that's the main reason why we really stay in an apartment and why that works for us, having the cooking facilities. But the nice thing this year was that there were a couple of things that my daughter could have. And as I said, that she could have the chips that they cooked. And then we generally had some things that we brought with us for her to have with the chips. So we really enjoyed this water display. I definitely think that if you're here for a few days, definitely make a point of seeing it. It's on twice each evening, and well worth it. And then the evening after this, we went to see Caro. Now, I hear mixed reports on the show, Caro. I really love it. I think it's very artistic, and I think it's got quite a deep meaning, but it depends what sort of person you are. For me, I think it's very, very cleverly done, and it really makes you think about life and death and time and how people use time. I really enjoy it. We saw it last year. We took my mother and father-in-law as part of their Christmas present. We got the tickets and we sat in the VIP area, which was nice. This time it was the same storyline. Most of the actresses were the same, but there were a couple of additions which we all picked up were different from last year. But I still think the costs and everything is so much cheaper. I think it's really good value. I feel like they're not trying to kind of milk you for every single pound like you get in some theme parks. And then we're on to day 3. And the first thing we did was go on Max and Morris again. So we had to queue a bit for day 3 because we didn't get in for the extra time, but we still wanted to make a point of going on that first because we all enjoy that. We like going around the second time, it gets faster. And then we joined the queue for Dance Macabre. We all loved this ride. The theming, the music, absolutely fantastic. We really, really enjoyed it. I was worried I'd get a bit of motion sickness. I didn't used to, but when I turned sort of 40, I started getting a little bit of motion sickness on some rides. But I didn't experience that at all. Really, really fantastic ride. And again, we did the tip, my top tip, joining the queue at 9:45. If you can get on at that sort of time, that then means that we were first on the ride. So that works out really good with timings. But I'd recommend take a bit of time as you walk through the queue area for this ride. Take a bit of time just to look around. You'll see bats hanging up. If you're not careful, you'll get water fired at you. Really, really good to look around. Now you can see my daughter with a little cart, and you can see a couple of top tips that I've added there. So firstly, do make sure you take a photograph of the cart. Take a photograph of your receipt. And ideally take a lock, but you need to attach something. So every time I attached my bag or my husband hung his coat over it, the one time we didn't, we came off the boats and somebody had stolen it. My daughter was really upset because it's quite some distance away from the reception area. But then, by chance, because we got the number on, I started looking at the little carts which looked like hers, which was a slightly older version, not the newer version. And I glanced and realised that was hers. So I went up to the people and said, "Excuse me, you've taken that. You took that from the boats." And they looked very, very uncomfortable and said, "Oh, well, somebody must have taken ours then." and they gave it to us back. I've talked a little bit about the food, but not really that much, and that is because we cook quite a lot in our accommodation. But I just wanted to mention we found the food to be very competitively priced compared to theme parks prices in the United Kingdom, Disney prices, where you feel like you know, you're paying for, goodness me, not very good quality food and you're paying a premium. We actually felt like the food was quite good quality and quite good price. So a couple of days my husband had like the beef, sort of like a beef casserole, sort of, I don't know how you'd sort of explain it, almost like a stew with loads of vegetables. And we also feel like they encourage children to eat more vegetables and salad than what some of the other theme parks do. So we were very pleased. You'll then see our trip round on the boat. That's an automatic course, so you can't drive the boat, you just sit on the boat and the boat takes you round. But we love how Efteling is at one with nature, really, because there were loads of birds nesting, there were baby birds. It was really lovely and relaxing, and you can hear all the birds around you. I thought that was really nice. We went on Symbolica twice. So the first time we made a point of going on the route that we hadn't been on before, because we went twice last year, so we went on the Heroes route. Then the next time we went on, we chose just the one which had the shortest queue, but it is sometimes a bit of a shame with the single rider system, because we were hoping to get a photo, and then 3 of us sat in the front, and then we got a single rider who was sort of smiling and waving at her friends who were also going as a single rider, and then that means that you can't actually have the photo, which I think is a bit of a shame. Not really sure whether there's any way around that. Just a bit disappointing. Now, I'd recommend those of you watching this that have got young children, keep well away from this. You pay €6. Well, you choose which level prize you want. So €6 is the smallest prize. And you get a toy which looks like that came from Poundlands. But I guess the enjoyment is searching through the ducks and finding 2 of the same colour. And then you get to throw all the ducks back and make a big splashy mess. But my daughter chose her owl and she quite liked it. So she was happy with that. €6 for the toy and for the fun. And I just wanted to also mention about some of the other nature. So as well as all the birds and the little baby chicks and so on, you can also see these massive great fish, which some people feed a little bit of bread to, but they're in quite a few of the water areas. So they're nice to see. And the flowers. I know it is tulip season at the moment in Holland, but the flowers are just stunning. Really, really beautiful. So I just showed you a very, very short clip there from Caro. I definitely recommend that. I think it's lovely, even though I've been twice and both times are very similar. Very artistic, very thought-provoking. Only €12.30. I thought that was well worth it. Really enjoyable. Enjoyable for all ages. If you're not a particularly kind of thoughtful person or deep person, then you may not see the full meaning. But anyone relates to it, because it's about life, death, and the challenges that people go through. You'll see my daughter in the cart again. That was because we got it for on the 3rd day, because we had it stolen for that period of time, so they gave it to us for free. And then we just walked through some of the gardens, like there's a Chinese garden, which is just so, so lovely. So I showed a little clip of that as well. So I hope you've enjoyed our video all about Efteling. I hope you found the top tips useful and interesting. It's taken a while to record this video and organise it because of me making sure I was trying to do everything in the right order and explain to you what we did. No doubt my husband or my daughter will tell me that I've missed something out. But please let me know in the comments any questions you've got, any thoughts and ideas you've got if you visited Efteling yourself, from what you found out, and whether you disagree or agree with my comments. And thank you for watching my video, and I hope it was useful. Bye bye.